The following game has been rated M for mature by the ESRB for blood, mild sexual themes, mild violence, and strong language. What that means is anyone under the age of 17, basically anyone still considered a child, should not be watching this video. You have been warned. Greetings and salutations, I am Outlier, and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is, of course, my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we're returning back to Frostpunk. The premise of this game is that you're in charge of a city of refugees up in the frozen north in the middle of nowhere during a global ice age. So it's regularly getting colder and colder, and you have to worry about feeding your population, keeping them sheltered, keeping everything warm and isolated. And your primary tool for this task is a massive coal-fueled, steam-powered generator, which, if you don't feed it an adequate amount of coal, the generator starves, it shuts down, and everybody freezes to death. Or if you run it too hot for too long, it explodes in a massive fireball and everybody dies. Horrifically. If not caught in the explosion, then because there's no generator, there's no steam. No steam, no heat, and everybody freezes to death anyway. So it's a game of balances, and if you haven't seen last episode, we accepted a whole bunch of new residents to the city, and we're given a foreshadowing warning that a great ice apocalypse, known as the Great Freeze, I believe it's called, or a massive freeze anyway, is coming to sweep the entire Frostlands, the nameless location where your city is located. It plans on wiping the whole Frostlands clean of everything. So we're in the middle of prepping for that, and on top of that, I still have people living in tents because I don't have enough resources to build bunkhouses, and I don't have enough resources to get anything better than bunkhouses. And on top of that as well, I have more people coming in because my scouts found them, and I didn't want to sacrifice them in exchange for resources. I would prefer getting the resources along with them, but the game didn't give me that option, so either or. So, we are going to be approaching what I assume is the end game with too little in pretty much every category, including storage, and well, we'll see if we can survive. For, as they say on the internet, the city must survive. I should point out, that does not mean the people need to, just that the city does. So on that note, this game is of course made by Thank you again. That being said, let us begin. So this is the city. As you can see, we're having shortages of several things. I only have about 13 hours worth of coal left before I run out because the steam generator is running low, and I just don't have the storage to stockpile a significant quantity of it. I do have a steam coal thumper, which is currently offline because it is outside of its working time. I do also have tents being built and a whole bunch of gathering posts to gather coal from the coal thumper. I also have 3 people homeless and 188 people sick, not counting the 80 people currently being tended to. Because those refugees that I mentioned in the last episode, 3/4 of them were sick, and rather than turning away the sick and the dying, I said, sure, come on in. So, that's the city, this is the Frostlands. This massive ice cloud, I'm assuming, is the Great Freeze. It was all the way over here, and now it's about here. I'm assuming tomorrow it's going to be here. This is my one and only scout team coming back with, I believe, a whole bunch more people, because we found them. As scouts are escorting survivors, you can't give them other orders now. So hopefully they manage to get back in before the storm makes significant progress. That way they can hit one or more of these areas, because it's the only scout team I have access to. And we're not heading towards Tesla City because that's in the wrong direction. And hopefully I can find enough resources to build technology. Yeah, to build the stereoscopic lenses, which apparently will advanced measuring instruments installed in the beacon will enable us to gauge this variety of incoming storms. So it requires 100 wood and 100 metal, and I have 30 wood and 7 metal, and all my wood and metal is going into building tents. Plus, it's negative 50 degrees C, and everything is, well, cold. But I digress. So there are 2 metrics that govern your city in addition to the various resources and whether or not people die. They are discontent, which measures how angry, I guess, the people are, and hope, which measures how, well, bleak their outlook is. And if you bottom out hope or max out discontent, the people get angry and throw you out and you lose the game. Conversely, if everybody starves or gets too cold and they freeze to death and everybody dies, you lose the game. So that's the base, and as you can see, discontent is well, about a third, I want to say, somewhere between a quarter and a third. What would that be? Well, 1/3 is 3/12, and 1/4 is 4/12, and 1/4 is, I guess, 3/12. So 3.5/12, which would be what, 5/24, because fractions are weird. Whereas hope is at practically the maximum. So I like to think that I'm in relatively good standings with these metrics. And if we look at the tech tree, I don't have the ability to actually research anything, simply because I don't have the resources to. But if I did have enough resources and they weren't dependent on everything else, the next thing I plan on researching would be the factory, because it should technically allow me to make prostheses, which would get the 6 amputees I currently have lounging about in the, I almost said storage shed, care house, which is, well, filled with anybody needing treatment because I'm overtaxed health-wise. Should get them back in the workforce. I technically also need more child shelters because I now have, what, 30 kids? 77 children, and I only have, how many child shelters? Where are the child shelters? Oh, 2 child shelters, and each one only holds 15, so I would need 3 more child shelters to fit all the kids. Just adding in, maxing out all the people that I need for these things. Oh, and in about a day, it's going to drop to -70, and then about 2 days later after that, it'll rise to -60, after which I'm assuming the Great Storm hits probably around here. Also, I only have enough stored rations to feed about half the population, and enough raw food to probably feed, well, I would hope the other half. I would hope. It doesn't help that I only have one cookhouse, and I don't have much in the way of spare storage, simply because up until this point, I really had no need for spare storage, because I would constantly be under the cap, or if I did max out, I would quickly use practically every resource that I had. So at the time, I didn't really have much need. Of course, that was the time. Times change. Speaking of change, almost forgot one thing, something I regularly forget, the Book of Laws. So, unlike other city building games, you have laws which allow you to change how the city operates, or it gives you bonuses to extra things. So, like for instance, if I passed the law allowing the House of Pleasure, it would basically allow prostitution within the public house. Hope will fall slightly, but it will also lower discontent. Whereas if we pass, say, the extended shift, shifts can extend the workday in any facility to up to 14 hours. Working overtime causes discontent, and discontent will rise slightly. Probably not the best idea, but given the fact that what's coming is what's coming, it may be necessary. Because these are hard times and hard decisions need to be made. We're all gonna probably die anyway, but until then, hard decisions need to be made. And one of those hard decisions is, because I can't get more infirmaries because I need a steam core, I am going to spend what little wood I still have to build a medical tent. Hopefully, I had hoped I'd have plenty of wood to build like whole strings of them, but apparently I got more sick than I thought that I did. And the hunters are going out looking for food. Also, I do have one automation. It is currently mining me metal, because I need more metal. Well, at least the total number of untreated sick is going down. I'm fairly certain it's because they're actually dying, but, well, you never know. Okay, so that's built, and I almost forgot to actually staff it with people, so that way it can be functioning. And, something's happening. Alright, so Desperate Father, Runaway Child. Sir, a man is here to see you. He says that his daughter ran away after the news of the storm spread. He wants to borrow a scout sled to go after her. She's a big girl, but she was always very impulsive, and she scares easily. The father explains, I must find her before she's lost for good. She's all I have left. So, the options are, Hold die 2, stop him. This man will be prevented from leaving the city. Hope will fall. Equip him for the journey. You don't have enough food rations, however. I'm guessing everybody ate them all, or we just ignore him. Well, I would like to equip him for the journey, but I don't have the ability to do so. And since we're all going to die anyway, much as it pains me to do it, stop him. Alright, so how bad was that decision, or will we not know? Alright, so I got 4 hours left of coal stockpile before the generator dies, and we are currently at. So the people think that we won't survive this. How will we manage against that monstrosity? I'm guessing the storm blew in further. Yep, it did. Okay then. said what was that, but I think that's the Steam Thumper. Except we're still on free time, so the Steam Thumper isn't actually on. On the plus side, the number of people being treated of untreated sick is going down. Somehow I'm at 92 sick, 92 treated.
Brace yourselves. Cold is coming.
And it is now colder. In fact, it's now too cold for the child shelters, but then again, they're not on yet, so... I now have 5 people gravely ill.
Order, people. Let's march to work.
Alright, so if we look at the heat map, every bunkhouse is very cold, even though it's within the heat radius of the generator. For some reason, they didn't include heaters in the bunkhouses. Why do I have a feeling something happened? Alright, word of advice, research shortage. We're getting short on resources. Our needs are great and growing by the hour. To address this, we can enact a law that allows us to extend working hours. Open the book of laws. Can we actually pass a law? We can, actually. And that was a law I was about to do anyway.
Hear me, hear me. New law in the city.
10 hours weren't enough? Sadly, no. Emergency shift, that calls people to work for 2 hours. So this will change the shift length. Alright, so now that it's work time, if we check consumption, we're actually still burning coal. Okay, so I know it'll raise discontent, but we're going to have to extend the shifts for the gathering huts. That's a bunkhouse. And the coal thumper. And why not? We'll do it for the coal mines as well, because we need more coal. Alright, so severe frostbite, a citizen had to have their limb amputated, which is never a good sign. And, we need 2 more medical posts, and, well, medical tents. And if we look at resources, I actually don't have enough wood to build a, cancel that. Get me a resource depot. So, discontent jumped up because I'm having a more mild frostbite. Because I don't have the facilities to, well, keep everybody from freezing. Because these tents are freezing, everybody's freezing. I can upgrade 1 tent to a bunkhouse. You know, I can upgrade 2 tents. I keep forgetting that if I'm upgrading a tent to a bunkhouse, it's not the same level of resources. Yeah, overcrowded medical facilities. I got more medical facilities. I got more people in need of medical facilities, and I got medical facilities. Are being built. I mean, I guess ideally, if I let it stockpile, I could technically get enough wood and steel to do the research that I need. But I currently have more pressing concerns right now. I mean, I know the storm is coming. I see that the storm is coming. It's probably going to hit Tesla City tomorrow. Okay, so that's done. So we pop 5 engineers in that. And what's this mean? Research storage not... Oh, so I can only specify a specific kind of resource. Well, I guess we're going to have to stockpile coal. In the meantime, we're just going to upgrade every tent. Bunkhouse, I'm hoping that's every that's every tent available. Yeah, I'm not seeing any more icons, so I'm assuming we're good on tents, although 13 people are now on us. But hopefully that gets remedied once all the bunkhouses are finished. I'm going to turn that on. Alright, so I'm guessing this is ridiculously cold because it's out of the steam hub. Goody. Alright, so level that and build that one. We're still making a surplus in terms of coal. I would like to run it at steam level 2, but that would probably eat through all the surplus, and I don't want to do that until after I have a stockpile of coal. That lasts more than a day. Okay, now what? Urgent need for treatment, Captain. People are gathering to protest. The number of untreated sick keeps rising. You seem to ignore the problem. I am working on the problem. I don't have enough steam cores to build another infirmary. The last steam core that I know that I have is being carried by the scout team, still on their way, and I'm planning on that one for a factory, because we still need a factory. So I have 3 days to admit 1/3 of the people that are sick. That's what, 200 people? So 1/3 of that. 75 people? Alright, we'll see if we can treat a quarter of nearly 200 people. On that note, build a steam hub right here. And get me more medical tents. Well, a medical tent, I guess. So if I can't get infirmaries, then we're going to have to go with the next best thing. And the next best thing is a sheet of canvas over wood, and that may or may not have a bed not sitting currently on the floor. Actually, in cold weather, what you want to do is be right on the ground, because any air that's caught in between you and whatever you're sleeping on will actually chill you further. That's part of that's the main reason why you see when traveling down roads, you see that lead to bridges, especially in areas that are affected by the winter season. You see them flagged as bridge may be icy or bridge freezes before road, because the bridge is completely surrounded by air, which is cooler than the geothermically fueled ground. Alright, so Scout Unit number 1 has returned safely to the city. They actually have 2 steam cores. Huh. I thought they only had 1, but they also dropped off, what, 50 more people? 80 more people? 35, 42... 60 more people. Okay then, let us pause. Although only 23 people are homeless, that's interesting. But I won't have enough wood to build more tents or bunkhouses. So, it takes 1 day and 4 hours to get to the crevasse. Ice crevasse, 1 hour, 1.5 days to get to the deep hollow. A little over 1 day to get to the snow burrow. So you can see So for the snowbirds, you can see several small mounds in the distance. Nothing stirs in the white plain surrounding them. Whereas in the deep hollow, there's something odd about the landscape here. It looks like a shadow on the white plain that deepens towards the central point. Or the ice crevasse against the stark wood at snow plateau, something stands out, a thin dark line. It's hard to tell from this distance what's to be found there. I don't know if they're going to be able to get there and back in time, but the ice crevasse is closest, so we'll send Scout Team 1 out to that. I'm hoping they can do that. I'm fairly certain I just sent them to die. So, there's that. Right, forgot that the Steam Hub is set to only during the work schedule, so we're going to have to turn that on. Consumption is still in the positive. Really? That's still outside. Could have sworn it was like right in between the overlap. Oh well. So mild frostbite and other citizens become gravely ill. I like the fact that the numbers are actually of sick and injured are actually increasing, not decreasing. So screwed that one up. Severe frostbite. Someone had to have a limb amputated. Fine, kick it to level 2. We're gonna burn through coal. Okay, we got 5 hours left to. Never mind. We got 5 hours left of coal production. Now what? Okay, 5 hours left. Hours left of a coal stockpile if we run it at steam level 2, and it's more than 5 hours before they get back to work gathering more coal. Oh, here's an hour. We got 3 people starving now as well. And I can pass another book of laws, another law in the book of laws. So my options right now for the adaptation book are triage, which allows us to instantly heal half of the patients, but a quarter of them will die instantly. Hope will fall and discontent will rise. Probably not my best option. I could also again pass a law allowing prostitution, allow for dueling to take place, which discontent will be reduced permanently, and each spontaneous duel will slightly reduce discontent, but there's sometimes a chance that someone will die. I mean, people are going to die anyway. But, in addition to the Book of Adaptation, we have another Book of Laws, known as Purpose, which earlier in the game, something happened, people started freaking out, and I had to unite the people behind one of 2 different types of banners. Faith, which is basically a secular name for religion, and all the pitfalls and follies that come with it, or Purpose, which is a PC name for military state, with all the pitfalls and concerns that come with it. And the only laws that I don't have for the Book of Purpose is the Agitator. Strategically place loudspeakers to remind our citizens of the importance of their work and increase efficiency, which requires wood and steel that I don't have. And if I pass this law, I will need to build 3 agitators. Could do the Pledge of Loyalty, which people make mistakes, but we can give them a chance to redeem themselves if they agree to cooperate, of course. And people will be persuaded to sign a Pledge of Loyalty, which will turn them into secret informants, and this will provide a permanent hope bonus, and discontent will rise slightly. Or I could do Forcible Persuasion for people in the jail, which is basically torture. Explaining it to inmates the enormity of their wrongdoings in a more direct manner, return them to society faster. Allows me to do Forcible Persuasion in prisons, reduce the time prisoners spend in prisons may get hurt or killed, and discontent will rise. And I also have this one burning thing that I'm not quite certain what it is, because I have to pass either Forcible Persuasion or Pledge of Loyalty to get to it, and I don't have access to it. And since I haven't done either of those, I don't have access to it yet. Alright, well, discontent is rather high, I should point out. So, at the risk of people, well, let's just get prostitutes. Prostitutes can be employed in the public house. that's an infirmary. Bunkhouse, steam hub, hothouse. Right, so it's not something I need to turn on and off separately. Okay. And I'm out of rations and people are starving. Goody! Alright, what do I need to build an infirmary? 30 wood, 20 steel, and a steam core. People still think we won't survive this. They are probably actually accurate. Just out of curiosity, how many people? Oh, so I actually have no people in the prison. So if I round people up, wrongdoers and put them in prison, they'll go after discontent, distance, and the troublemaker people return to society after 4 days. Discontent will fall. Conversely, I could also technically go on patrol routes, but I need 10 food rations for that, and I don't have any food. I don't even have enough food to feed the people. So if I need to treat 130 some odd people, why? I thought it was a third that I needed to treat. Yes, everything is cold. Actually, I probably do have enough spare. Put a steam hub up here. And let's build another infirmary. Alright, not enough space to put it there. Put it over here. Yes, the temperature will drop in one more level in about, what, 3 days? That's probably when this storm is going to hit. Probably even less, given the fact that it's practically at Tesla City's doorstep. And again, I don't think the scouts are going to make it. I may have just doomed them. Side note, put another bunkhouse there. You know what? Hang on. Bunkhouse. Put the bunkhouse up there. How much do I need to research the... That's a road. Hang on. That's construction. I have to click on the workshop. Check trade. What do I need for the factory? 20 more metal to build to research the factory. More mild frostbite. Bunkhouses hold 10 people. So I'm going to need 2 more bunkhouses to house all the homeless. There's something already there. Bunkhouse. We're out of steel. Of course we're out of steel. You asked them too much, we weren't out of steel. We're also out of wood. Guess who's getting extra work shifts? Remember when I said discontent was between a quarter and a third? Yeah, it's not anymore. Fill that with people and get the heater on. Alright, so can I build roads now? Yes, I can. Don't have enough steel for the steam hub. Resources, gathering post. What do I need for the gathering post? 15 wood and 5 steel to get 60 steel. On the plus side, we now have, well, we don't actually have enough rations to feed everybody. Over 1,000 coal, and that's only good for 15 hours worth of heating. For some reason, that amuses me. Alright, so we'll put the steam up here. Alright, so I'm guessing the storm is now at Tesla City. Well, I mean, it's hard to gauge with this cloud right here. But if I go by this wall of sheeting, it's about at this outcropping. And since I didn't really see it before, I can't really gauge how quickly it's going to get here. But we're probably looking at a couple more days. On the plus side, we now have plenty of housing. A few people are hungry. We got a fair amount of food. You know what? I probably should have actually built another hothouse instead of a infirmary. But that steam hub is now churning out, so these houses should be possibly almost, but not really warm. You look at the heat map, everything is darn ass cold. I mean, if I could, I would have people live in things like the prison. Believe it or not, the prison is one of the most insulated things that I got. Whereas propaganda center, yeah, things like the infirmary, I just have people live there. But that's not an option, and this actually has no people. So just kick that up. And hopefully by tomorrow they will eat this chunk of metal to nothing. In the meantime, because I can't get more infirmaries, it's over. That's the steam thumb. And space. Build me more infirmaries. Because if we can't get quality, we have to go with quantity. Oh, that's the button for the tech tree. And now we need 30 wood. Although on the plus side, there's no longer any gravely ill. I'm guessing they died. Mild frostbite. I say that as 16 people become gravely ill. Alright, so what I'm going to do, and another person became amputated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this. I'm going to turn the heater on because I'm removing the automation and putting in 10 workers here. Because what I'm going to do is, because this is now under the control of a steam hub, whereas the wall drill is not, I'm turning off the heater, removing those workers, and putting the automation up there. Because the automation doesn't care what temperature it is. And what's going on now? Fear of the storm-hungry mother. Sir, a woman has come to plead with you. She wants more food rations. The cook says she's already received her allowance. I beg you, Captain, the woman says in a trembling voice. Your men mean well, but they must have made a mistake. I need 2 rations, one for me and one for my sick child, please. Discontent will rise if we give her more food. Won't bend the rules, and hope will fall slightly. I got more hope than discontent, and we have more people than we have rations, so have the kid get in line. Wow, hope drops by a significant amount. Scouts have reached the ice crevasse. Oh goody, more survivors. Move on. We found a dying person, the dying people, innocent refugees told us about their sheltering in an ice crevasse. sorry, on the verge of death. These people on their last legs, despite taking shelter in an ice crevasse, many of them suffer from heavy frostbite and hypothermia. We can help them still if we act quickly and bring them to our city. They can't stand on their own. Some can hardly speak. Site discovered Camp Vulcan. Bring them to the city. Leave them to their fate. I mean, it's 12 people and 7 children. Well, 12 workers and 7 children. So it's not very many people. But I was hoping that they'd be able to hit another area without heading back to the city. So the options are to bring what few survivors there are to the city, or let them die. Scouts are probably not going to have enough time to go back to the city and get back out here. Of course, that assumes that they're even going to be able to get back to the city in the first place. This could be a fool's errand. But bring them back anyway. Now, I think that number also counts the people currently receiving medical attention. So instead of it being 200 and change, it's actually like 300 people. So with the so if I have, hang on, so that's 229 people not currently being treated, with 122 currently being treated. So that's 359. So that's 351 people. So 3/4 of my city's population are currently sick or dying. Yeah, I made some really good decisions there. I open up medical facilities and more people are now sick. Go figure. Most of them kids. On the plus side, it's going to increase in temperature. Oh, so temperature will drop one more level a day after it drops another level. So in about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4.5 days, it'll drop to -70 again. Well, in about a few hours, it'll increase to -60. In about 4 days, it'll drop to -70, and then a day after that. Yeah, about a day after that, we'll drop to -80. So plus side's not everyone's freezing. So food theft causes riots. Survey investigated the discrepancy between the raw food use and output of cookhouses. Turns out the cooks are stealing food. People are furious. I caught one thief. They say they want to secure their families before the storm shuts down the food supply. Banish them, when people leave the city forever. Post guards to supervise the cooks, or I won't address that now. Discontent will rise considerably. Cooks will keep stealing food. Post guards to supervise the cooks. That seems to be the most neutral of the two. Because, yeah, I'm worried once this storm hits... It looks like it hasn't really moved all that much. Well, there's now a Camp Vulcan. Several shacks stand at the foot of a small hill. We can see plenty of people moving between them constantly. Yeah, unless it's wood, steel, coal, or food, I'm not interested. It's a resource I'm missing. Alright, so I got 19 people coming in, and the most recent bunkhouse is, well, now stopped full. Look at the heat map. Things are still chilly. Okay, got it. Alright, so next thing I want to do is actually build another resource depot. We're going to stock this with food, because I think part of the reason why I have food shortages is because, well, originally they kept maxing out food production. Like, they'd hit the maximum number of rations and it wouldn't be enough. We're just going to increase the shifts for every... Okay, now I can't find the cookhouse. Now I can't find the hothouses. There's one, there's one. I think I actually have 3? I don't actually remember. Plus, I can build 2 child shelters. I got enough wood for that. And I think I might actually only have 2 hothouses. Yeah, I only have 2 hothouses. I meant to build a 3rd, but I use that to build an infirmary. Side note, research the factory. Also on the plus side, the remaining sick and injured number is decreased, but I have less than a day and a half to treat everybody, and I don't think that's going to happen. And mild frostbite, a citizen is not gravely ill. I don't think I really need to worry about the stored resources, whether or not they're warm. Don't think they actually get workers. Alright, and so we're going to store food rations in this one, even though we're constantly running out of food. But we're going to try to stockpile as much as we can, even though it may already be too late to do so. And the scouts are almost back, so we're going to need to build more bunkhouses for 19 more people. You know, let's put it here. See if we need another one. Let's I only have 7 hours worth of coal stockpiled left. Why is that? It's work done. Scout unit number 1 has returned to the city. Okay then. So, I mean, I don't know if the storm's moving slower than I thought, or they just got lucky, but head to the Deep Hollow. And I now have 12 people homeless, although that's still technically being built, so it's more like 2 homeless. So that should take care of that. I still need more wood. I mean, I could technically build an outpost where Winterhome used to be. It would deliver 150 wood every day, but I don't have the outpost depot researched. I don't have the outpost depot researched, and given the fact that the Storm to End All Storms is coming, I doubt I'll be able to research the outpost depot, build the outpost depot, have enough resources to set up the outpost, and you know, get it running, and then have the people that are out there, because I don't know if it says that the storm will hit any outpost groups currently on the Frostlands. I don't know if it's an already established outpost, if it's protected against the Great Storm, or if it's just a case that, you know, any outpost gets slaughtered. But I don't believe I have the time anymore to actually do any of that. So what I'm probably going to have to do is see if I can stockpile enough stone and stockpile enough stone and steel and wood to research the stereoscopic lenses. So, because hopefully that'll tell me exactly how much what we got left. The storm coming. Kill everybody. Need info on it. That's what it does. Alright, so for the first time in God knows how long, they are actually out of rations. So what we're going to do is lessen the shift, because we don't need the cooks not doing anything. And we got 9 hours worth of coal. What is eating into all the coal consumption? I mean, is it the heaters, the steam hubs? I'm thinking it's the steam hubs. because we were running. I mean, it is also free time, and a lot of the medical facility, the gathering places and whatnot, all their people ended up being sick. So. In fact, speaking of medical facilities. Get 2 more medical tents up, because I got less than a day to treat 76 people. I'm not quite certain that's going to happen. In fact, I'm fairly certain it's not going to happen. Alright, so I'm hoping the scouts are going to be able to get to where they need to go and back in time. Of course, I said that the last time, and now I'm certain. I'm fairly certain. Chance of fate. So why is nothing taking so long? But I forgot that I had paused it. Of course, that told. I didn't realize that this actually tells me that in 4 days and 6 hours, the storm's going to hit. So yeah, the scouts should have enough time to get there and back, but that'll be it. They won't be able to go anywhere else. So if there's more people there. Something tells me that it's all going to be people. Alright, start treating the sick. Now, doom-mongering drunk. Sir, a dozen or so people got drunk and took to the streets. They're chasing after women yelling that we should have some fun before the storm kills us all. What should we do with them? So I can banish them, 12 people leave the city forever, or send them home. They'll be sent to sober up, but their doom-mongering will affect hope and discontent. You know what, I'm getting tired of people and all their doom-mongering and all the whatnot and whatever, and I don't want hope to fall any further or discontent to rise any further. But at the same time, just send them home. Yeah, I should have just thrown them out of the city. Now I got 2 hours worth of coal production left. So it's all the medical posts that's probably eating into my coal. I like how the heater makes it go from comfortable to unable to actually do anything. On the plus side, I now actually have more people being treated than I do untreated. On the downside, I'm not going to be able to finish this in time. Especially given the fact that coal will run out in about 2 minutes. And we're still 3 hours away from... Yep, we're out of coal. The generator is shutting down. Discontent is rising. And now every last sick person has been kicked out. Start arresting people. I need discontent lower. Also, send out propaganda bulletins to increase hope. I'd send people out on patrols, but I need food for that, and I don't have enough food.
Come, lads. We must work harder.
Alright, so... one thing I dislike is that everybody's heater suddenly turns off. And they don't automatically turn back on, so you're going to have to re-switch them back on manually. plus I do now technically have enough wood to research the thingy that I need. But I need to treat 47 people in 9 hours. So my one thought is to pass the triage law, which will allow me to instantly heal half the patients, but a quarter of them will die. Hope will fall and discontent will rise, but using it can only happen every 3 days. The number of patients reduced by 3/4. Hope will fall for each dead patient, discontent will rise. So, if... pause so we can do the math. If I have 170 people currently in care, and if I pass and use triage, half of them will be fine. So that's 85 people, but a quarter of them will die. So that's 42 and a half people. 43 people will probably die. And discontent will rise based off of that amount. But I don't know exactly how much that actually is. But it would mean that I would treat enough people to take care of the ill. And then hope will fall because of every death as well. 43 people is a massive amount. I think I would actually rather take the hit for not completing that than the unknown hit for, well, completing it. The unknown hit for using triage. Alright, but we need a law passed, so let's go with Pledge of Loyalty, which will provide a permanent hope bonus, and, well, it doesn't say any, discontent will rise slowly.
Listen, everyone. New law is signed.
That is not slightly. And I don't have enough spare food rations to actually send out a patrol, because I'm guessing they managed to research the factory. Goody. And they have now enough resources, barely enough resources to research that. Alright, so extend the shift to burn through all the spare food. Home mild frostbite, factory has been researched. $30 wood, 15 steel, and a steam. So technically, 2 steel and I got it. Discontent's rather high. Yeah, they're eating the food rations as they're being produced. And I think discontent's actually decreasing. It was higher than hope. And also, it's now down to 32, but at 4 hours. Now, if I still had a day, I'd say I'd get that complete, but, well, no, I'm not so certain. I thought the efficiency for this is 0. I'm guessing the engineers supposed to be running the place are patients in the same, tent. Plus, I now have enough resources to build a factory. How am I building this thing? Well, if it's probably going to use mostly steel, it might as well be right next to the steel factory, to where they make the steel. Yeah, a little over 3 hours and 25 people remaining. I am probably going to be just short, and that's what irks me most. I think discontent just rose. Alright, so the steel wreckage has been depleted and the gathering hut's no longer useful. So we are going to dismantle the building. Of course, now there's 32 remaining and I got less than an hour, so... I got close. A lot of the times when I fail these things, I get close. And that's what irks me the most. On the plus side, we now have a factory under construction. Means I should be able to build prosthetics to get the 15 amputees back into something that passes the workforce. Alright, so healthcare promise broken, the sick feel cheated and dispirited. Well, you know what, if I only counted the people who were sick originally, then I would have done, but hope falls and discontent rises. By ridiculous amounts on both fronts. And we can't arrest any more people. Yet. 2 2 days for the ability cooldown for propaganda, and 1 day for the roundup. So let's get engineers in here, and you empty one automation from 100 wood, and 100 steel, 100 wood, and 50 coal, and 1 steam cores. I don't have the ability to make steam cores, nor do I have spare steam cores. Just have them make prosthetics. Let's just have them keep making prosthetics. God knows more people will probably lose limbs before they don't. Alright, so that storm's getting closer and closer, and it looks like it's... Alright, so it looks like the Great Storm has actually hit the fishing village and Tesla City. So I'm assuming those are now out of bounds with this. Go to the city. Okay, so this is when the temperature... So this is when the actual storm will hit. So in about 2.5 days, the temperature dropped to -6, -70 I should say. 70, then 80. Then the day after that it'll hit -90, and I'm assuming this frost piece is when the storm will actually hit. I would say on the plus side we have fewer sick than we do, well, more people treated than we do sick, but that number just increased. More from frostbite. Part of me thinks I may have built more medical posts than needed, but Alright, so the scouts have gotten to the thing. The deep hollow. Oh, more survivors. One thing I was hoping not to do. Temperature drops suddenly here into the terrain drops suddenly here into deep hollow. Wounded people and dead bodies in the rocky bottom. So explore. Those people must have fallen into this hole while escaping the incoming storm. At least half of them didn't survive the crash. It seems we could rescue the wounded. That is, if we strap them to our sleds and bring them to our city quickly. Site discovered Camp Compass. Bring the wounded to our city or leave them to die. 19 more people. Well, I was hoping for resources, but that was only because I didn't think I'd be able to get and build everything that I wanted, and get enough resources to research the lenses that I need to keep track of the storm. Bring them to the city, we'll worry about everything later. Run like your life depends upon it, because it actually does. So Camp Compass is a small camp built around a large artic hut. It's inhabited. We saw movement during the day and lights at night. Yeah, they're not going to make it. Because this is... the exile colony is now completely frozen. So this will literally be the last thing that these scouts do. Because it's going to take them 17 hours, a little over half of a day to get there, to get back to the city. And in 3 days and 2 hours, the frost will hit us. So the only other option will be the snow burrows, but that's going to take, I think, a day, or 1 day and 19 hours, basically a little under 2 days to get there. Probably about a day and a half to get back, which is over 3 days, which is less than they would have, counting the time to get back to the city. So once the scouts get back to the city, and they should be able to do it before everybody dies, well, before they get hit by the storm, that's going to be the last thing I can use the scouts for. Because if I send them anywhere else, the storm will catch them before they manage to get back. Meantime, we got 19 people incoming and no spare housing. Stick you there. Steam hub. This will be a Ranger Steam hub. And you there. Alright, so now I got a decent stockpile of wood going on. What I'm going to do is take the automation off the wall drill, put it back onto the steelworks, so that way I can get a constant supply of steel to fuel the factory in the making of automations. Not automations, prosthetics. Also, get me the three child shelters that I need. And when I do get 20 steel, Steam Hub's going right here. Alright, arrest more people. And we do have a surplus workforce, so... Anybody else have other vacancies? What now? Fears of the storm, prayers at work. Sir, the people employed at this hothouse refuse to work today. They intend to spend the entire shift praying. Working like madmen, sir, but there's only so much we can do to prepare. Let's face it, this is the end of the world. To pray, we can find hope of deliverance, whatever happens. Force them to work, hope will fall, let them pray. Workplace will be inactive for the day. You know, I started this episode at near max hope, and I think I'm already down to almost half. Whatever God's still out there, hopefully they will bend an ear to them. God knows the gods aren't listening to anybody else. Yes, that's almost maxes out consumption. On the plus side, I have little over 100 people still sick. On the minus side, in about a day, or less than a day now, that's... Oh, we're out of steel again. Well, that's why I moved the automation over to steel. One of our people died. Died from lack of treatment. I'm surprised that number actually isn't higher. Turn that on, turn that on, turn that on, turn that on. So I got how many kids? 91 children. Child shelters 31. So I actually need two, in addition to the ones I've just built, I'm going to need 2 more child shelters to cover everybody. Oh, I got Steam achievement. Quite certain for what? A lot more people have gained frostbite. I guess probably because they built a prosthetic and somebody... Because I had 15 amputees and now I have 14. Alright, so I now need 2 more child shelters. And I don't have enough steel for that. I'm gonna pause that and just let the steel build up. We have, what was that, 13 hours of coal left? 18 hours of coal left. Yeah. On the plus side, the number of sick and gravely ill is now down to just over 50. So in 2 days, if the temperature didn't decrease, I probably would have run out of, I would say, storage people not needing medical care that don't have it. But let's be honest, it's going to go back to negative 70 again. Everybody's going to freeze, and then people will start dying. Well, and then the number in need of treatment will continue to increase. Because my hope, everybody needs hope, was that I would be able to, before the temperature dropped, build enough medical tents to get everybody stored and everybody treated, so that way the number would decrease and I wouldn't need the medical tents before it froze again. While I'll be able to hopefully get everybody treated before the temperature decreases, I don't think it'll be a case where I'll get the people in treatment cleared before burial ceremony is starting at the cemetery. Good for them. Before the temperature drops again and that number skyrockets. make no mistake, I'm fairly certain everybody currently in treatment is because of when it was in -70. Scout Unit number 1 have returned safely to the city. You can disband the scouts at the beacon or send them back out into the Frostlands. Well, it's going to take them, as I said, 1 day and 19 hours to get there, 2 days and 1 hour to get to Camp Compass. Camp Vulcan's already frozen. Yeah, I got just over 2 days before everything freezes again. Disband the scouts. We've got 5 extra workers and 40 wood. But there's pretty much nowhere that they can go. All the scouts were so cold that they're actually gravely ill, because they added to the sick number. Get me 2 more child shelters. The sick people that they brought with them. That's probably where the sick numbers came in. Alright, so we can now pass a new law. Discontent is high, and my options currently right now are, for the Book of Adaptation, are either triage, which I'm fairly certain that's the last law, or dueling law. Conversely, go to the Book of Purpose, which now have access to New Order, which is the introduction of the New Order. All who voice doubts be treated as traitors. Obedience is the highest virtue, without which the city can't survive. All those who do not follow be swept aside. And it can't pass another law until 3 days. Hope will never be a problem again. Londoners will have to renounce their views. They're already gone, so it doesn't matter. Public execution space will be built. Some Londoners will be killed. Again, they left, so it doesn't matter. Some people will feel compelled to fight this law. Some of them will die. Yeah, remember when I said military, military order? Yeah, hope will no longer be a problem, but I still have to worry about discontent. And I'm not one for military states. Oh, plus that I do have agitators. I could pass agitators. I'll need to build 3 of them, which require 10 wood and 10 steel, of which I have 210 wood and 22 steel. So I could probably technically build those within the time frame. What do agitators do? Significantly remind the citizens the importance of their work and increase their efficiency. Raise the efficiency workplace by 20%. Let's go.
Hear me.
So I have 3 days to build 3 agitators. And luckily I can build them in roads, so they don't really take up any extra space. So we're gonna put one by the steam hub, by the steam thumper, because coal production is necessary. We are also going to put one by this place, and that's all I can build right now. We're going to need 8 more. 1 more person has died. Now everyone will hear how important our work is. We're already sweating blood. Yelling at us won't help. Well, lady, death is literally coming. What would you like me to do? They're building the agitator for the child shelters. On the plus side, once I'm able to actually store all the kids, I should technically get a bump to hope. On the minus side, I'm now consuming once again more coal. Another mild frostbite case. I am now technically consuming more coal than I'm producing again, I think. I mean, everything's off anyway. Well, all the facilities are off now, so. Now what? Excuse me. Fear of the storm, fight over supplies, sir. An argument erupted between some workers last night. Some of them wanted a portion of the resources their facility produces, so so they can prepare for the storm. Came to blows, and though nobody was seriously injured, tensions are running high. Keep me updated. Why do I have a feeling that's going to lead to something in discontent? That just shot up discontent. Where's the president? And I can't actually send people to lock. I can't actually lock up people yet. Alright, so turn those on. One of our people have died. I'm now at 40 people not being treated, though 8 people are hungry. I got 6 hours of coal left in the stockpile, and about 4 hours before they start producing more, before the thumpers come back online. Thumpers. You know, they start at 6 now. So 2 hours before they go online, same with the coal plants. On the plus side, I now have only 19 people not treated, although 13 people are hungry. And, aren't those plums coming back yet? I mean, I guess they already arrived because they now have raw food. And they're making raw food, but it's being eaten as quickly. Oh, no, there's the plums. One of the plums. Temperature falls again and somebody died. And we jumped from 100 and some odd not being treated to a ridiculous pile. Because I'm guessing the infirmaries are now too cold to operate, which means we have to turn on their heaters. Which means coal production decreases like it's nobody's business. How many infirmaries do I have? I would get the steam core back if I dismantled the infirmary. Sadly, I need the infirmary space. I need the infirmaries up and running. I need everything. In terms of coal production consumption, that knocks it down significantly. Now what? A mob storms the stockpiles. Sir, a crowd of terrified people stormed the stockpiles and started plundering our supplies. We managed to fight them off, but they demand wood for heating and to reinforce the homes. We need 1,220 wood to supply everybody. I will have 24 hours to supply 1,200 wood. Disperse the crowd. People will get hurt. The city comes first. Discontent will rise. Hope will fall. I don't have the ability to produce 1,020 wood in 24 hours or in 24 days. Disperse the crowd. Alright, so I turned on the heater in the workshop and increased their work time, even though, what was that, 3 hours of coal production left? Oh, how did we reach the storage limit? It must be, I'm thinking the steam thumper reached the limit of their stockpile. They can only have, the steam thumper doesn't generate coal per se. It generates coal piles, which supposedly for gathering huts should technically be able to just consume. So, but the gathering huts aren't working at full efficiency, so they've only been able to gather so much, and now I don't have enough. And so what I'm trying to say is the thumper hit their maximum pile of coal that they have stockpiled, and they can't produce more until it gets gathered. The gathering huts aren't running at full efficiency, so it's not leaving as fast as it's going in. Did I put an extra? Yeah, I put an extra there. Let's put one right here. I got just under 2 days. Go back to producing prosthetics. I have just under 2 days before the deep freeze hits. And everybody's freezing. Alright, so everybody's cold, everybody's freezing. How? So this child shelter is actually outside the steam, outside the heat zones of every steam hub. It'd be nice if the steam hubs overlaid each other. Well, on the plus side, I only have 13 people not cared for. Of course, 46 people are freezing, so that's going to increase like it's nobody's business. I also have, what was that, 4 hours worth of coal left? Wood's at a maximum. That's always fun. Out of steel because the factory is making prosthetics for people. More severe frostbite. The agitator has been built. Hope rises. Barely anything. Arrest people. Alright. So guards will round up wrongdoers. Everybody's cold. Everybody's freezing. Turn these on. Not that it matters, because we'll run out of coal and everybody and the entire city will shut down again. So just shut that down for now, so that way we can get more steel. So we have 45 rations and 30 people hungry. Goody. Well, I'm fairly certain everybody's going to die, but that is another issue for another time, because I'm calling it here. Everybody stay safe from the plague and have a good day. What was that? Oh, the stereoscopic lenses have been researched. What exactly was that? Yeah, I know. Something something beacon, something something tells me how long the storm is. Did not think we'd get that done beforehand.